Welcome to Live, Breathe Yoga, a show dedicated to inspiring your practice and elevating your mind, body, and soul. Today on Case Study, we learn about Reiki with Yogi Emmanuelle. Coming up later in the show, get your mats ready for Strike a Pose, where we discover how to connect with a patient practice. Don't forget to stay tuned for Yoga Bites, where we share our recipe of the day. We have a great show in store for you, so stay connected for more Live, Breathe Yoga. Mudra is the Sanskrit word for gesture and is used to deepen your awareness and concentration during your practice. It can involve a combination of asana, also known as postures, breathing techniques, locks, and visualization, or it can be as simple as a change in hand position. Anjali or Namaskar Mudra. Anjali means to honor or celebrate, while Namaskar means the light in me bows to the light in you. Place the palms of your hands together at your heart chakra with your thumbs resting gently on your sternum. Other options are at the crown chakra above your head and at the third eye chakra at the center of your brow. Reiki is a word that you probably have heard if you've been in the health and wellness industry, or maybe you were in a yoga class and somebody spoke about Reiki. Well, today I have someone here to discuss what Reiki Energy Healing is all about. We have Emmanuelle, yogi and Reiki Energy Healer. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about what Reiki is.
Well, Reiki really is a universal force. It means universal energy. So it's something that everyone can produce. It's all the beings on this planet that have. It's the thing that we breathe in. So it's a universal force energy. And Reiki is a method of passing on that energy to another person.
So that when you make this gesture, is it only through your hands that you can pass this energy, or?
You can do it by looking at them, sending it to them vibrationally by thinking. But when you use your hand, it's more potent, and you can feel the energy coming out of it as well.
Okay. And for somebody who has never practiced or heard of Reiki before, what would it look like? If you were to see somebody practicing Reiki, what would it look like?
It would look like someone's... It would look weird, because it's like basically just your hand in front of someone's heart or forehead or on the crown of their head.
And for people who will feel, oh, this is too weird for me, do you find that those people are able to connect with it eventually, or does it just depend on the individual?
I think once you see a person doing Reiki in front of you, it's a sign that you're in the same vibration as Reiki, or that you're ready to receive Reiki, because it's when you see it, it seems strange, but you can feel it. It's all about the feeling instead of seeing it in front of you.
Have you ever encountered somebody who said that they can't feel anything?
Yes, but at the same time, I see her feeling it. So It's like her body or mind was denying it, but at the same time, she was more calm, more relaxed, and more peaceful, without her even noticing that she is.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When did you start your Reiki journey?
It started about 3 years ago. I was doing Reiki before I even knew that it was called Reiki.
Okay.
So after doing a lot of yoga, through the practice of yoga, my hands started to feel heat. Like I noticed heat coming out of my hands. And then I would put it on my friend's chest and they were like, whoa, they feel good. And I would just leave it there and we would just meditate. And then I realized that was Reiki. So I Googled it and I met a friend, a very dear friend who is a Reiki master, and she attuned me to Reiki.
What's her name?
Her name is Mandika Divya.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
She's amazing. She's a very powerful healer. And so I got attuned by her and now I'm just
Attuned?
spreading it. Attuned, yeah.
Okay.
So meaning like you confirm that energy is there. Like you've given birth to it by acknowledging that it's there.
Okay.
So that's what happens when you get attuned for Reiki.
And to get attuned, is that only from a Reiki master that can attune you? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Okay.
So there's different levels. So I think there's 3 levels. There's one where it's about self-healing. So you can use the Reiki level 1 to heal yourself. And then level 2 is where you can heal others as well. And then level 3 is the master one. So you can teach Reiki and attune people as well.
And how long is this journey for somebody who's connected with Reiki and wants to become a Reiki master?
To become a master, I would say about 3 to 5 years. Because once you get your level 1, you have to wait at least 6 months or a year. And you have to be constantly using the energy to yourself so that you can heal every part of your body. And then you're ready to receive your level 2.
Okay.
So it's about a year process.
Is there a school that you go to practice or to learn, or what is the process like?
There's a school that you can go to, but also there's I met her, my master, just from a gathering. So it was really universal sent to me that I needed to get attuned from her. But there's schools, there's a bunch of schools in Toronto where you can get it. And yeah, it's becoming more popular now, so it's pretty easy to access.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because our awareness is becoming more it's expanding a lot, that we're ready to try new things and experience new things in our life, because we're seeing the society changing and different things are coming up, and a lot of yoga, I think, helped a lot. Like yoga being in front of the mainstream has really expanded the consciousness of the whole nation, of everyone pretty much.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah.
It's definitely much more prevalent now. People being aware of their energy and how they're feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, like lately I hear people saying aura. Like that's something you will never hear in the mainstream before.
So for somebody who doesn't know what aura means, what's the aura?
Auric field is the energy vibration around a human being or around a plant. So they use like different tests in the science laboratory where they can actually see the energy. So the aura is the field around you.
Okay.
So when you have a strong aura, that means you're always happy, cheery, nothing can penetrate through it. But when you have a low vibrational aura, then there's cracks in it and people can get to you faster.
And when you say people can get to you faster, what would that mean?
Like thoughts. You become more sensitive to thoughts or to things that's happening around you. Like what an empath would be. Yeah.
Okay. So an empath, for people who don't know what
an empath is someone who feels more than a regular person. Yeah. Who feels deep sense of connection to other things, to all beings, pretty much.
And if somebody does feel that way, how would they go about healing their aura? Is that what you would call it?
Healing in general, or uplifting oneself. Meditation, yoga, Reiki, getting some Reiki done. It's a great way to clear your auric field and to heal and repair the auric field. And through the practice of Reiki, we go through each chakra as well, which are energy centers in the body. So going through each of that balances the whole being.
And when you are doing Reiki on an individual, what would it look like in terms of the actual session?
A person could be either, I would recommend lying down, flat on the floor, or a massage table would be necessary so that you don't hurt your back. And just crystals are always good to put on each chakras, and starting with sage just to purify the energy around. And sage is a leaf or a plant, like an herb that you can burn that transmute and refreshes the energy around.
Okay, so from the sage and then the crystals, what kind of crystals do you use?
There's different crystals that you can use for each chakras. So there's like really dark colored ones like red, black for the lower ones, and blue, white, and clear ones for the higher ones. So it really depends on which chakra you're working at. But I would recommend having each one for the chakras.
When we talk about energy fields, sometimes, well, you clearly can't see an energy field, so how would somebody know that this is working?
The sense of energy, they can sense it. Like if I put my hands up like this, and I can show it to you.
Okay.
So you can just relax your palm and just feel the energy coming out of my hands.
Ooh, it's warm.
Right? So it's all about just sensing it.
Yeah,
It's really
definitely
coming
a
out.
sensation of warmth radiating from your hand.
And the more that you're open to receive, the more it's gonna keep flowing. So it's all about how open you are. So when you're open to receive things, then it comes to you. But if you're blocking it, then you won't feel it.
What would cause somebody to block?
Fear. Fear is the number one block that needs to be released from every human being.
Okay.
And that's most of the work that I do, is to release fear. And it's usually from the root chakra, which is underneath the pubic bone. And that's the root of all things. So once the fear is not there, then the energy can travel all the way up to the crown.
Why would somebody want to get Reiki practiced on them?
There's different benefits. So like most of the reason is for someone who's very stressed. It helps them to calm down, and it guides you to a meditation. So you really purify yourself after you do a Reiki session. Or for someone who just had surgery, it also speeds up the healing process as well.
How does it do that?
By just combining all the forces of the universe into that moment, it heals. The way that the body heals itself speeds up. So the body heals itself, right? But we have to give the body the space to heal itself. So hospitals and being in bed is a great way to bring back your health. But if you use the Reiki energy, it speeds it up. It makes it more, it's like there's no time. Everything just happens as fast as it
Is it like more potent?
It's more potent.
Okay.
And it's also the nature of a healer. Its intention is to heal, right? So it also comes from the intention of someone giving the Reiki. How much they want to give and how fast do they want to heal the human being.
So you've been speaking a lot about giving energy. So as a Reiki healer, when you're giving energy, do you find that you're tired afterwards? Do you feel like your energy is depleted?
It's the opposite actually, because when you give Reiki, you open up your crown energy and you receive a lot of energy from the universe, so that it flows through your body and it channels through the person that you're giving healing to. So you become a channeler of energy. You just allow the energy to flow and for the person to receive it. So as you heal the person, you're also getting healed. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So as a healer, I imagine you would have to be quite open yourself.
Pretty much, yeah. You have to be able to let go of things easily so that you're not holding on to things, especially other people's energy that you don't want, that you're trying to release. You don't want it to come to you.
Okay.
So it's also important to wear crystals. That's why I'm wearing a lot of crystals every time I do Reiki, because crystals absorbs the energy.
Okay.
And then it's easy for them to absorb it than you yourself absorbing it.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So that's why also using the crystals through each chakra is a great way to release the energy.
So if I were to take on practicing Reiki, would you recommend doing Reiki before or after doing yoga?
Either or. I would say maybe after yoga, because it tends to calm you down after a practice. But either way is good.
Would you recommend a certain time of day to practice Reiki or to have Reiki practiced on you?
Not really. It's universal. There's no time and space, because when you're in a Reiki table, there's no such thing as time. Everything just happens in that present moment.
So how would you suggest someone to start their Reiki practice?
Just first start by meditating, allowing your body to just relax, because being able to relax also receiving the universal force energy. But if you want to feel the intensity of Reiki, then I would suggest just contacting a local Reiki healer and just going for it with a lot of knowledge and trust that you are receiving the right energy for you.
So being open.
Being
helps
open
a lot.
to it, yeah. And not double thinking it and not acting with fear, but being sincere with love and trusting that everything is gonna go well for you.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And there you have it. Just open up and be willing to accept any positive energy that's ready for you. Coming up after the break, strike a pose. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Strike a Pose, we offer postures along with modifications so you can practice safely at home or at the studio. We're gonna start today with cat-cow pose. Now in cat-cow pose, you're starting from a tabletop position. In your tabletop position, hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Try to get your index fingers parallel to one another. Knees are hip-width apart and the tops of your feet are kissing the earth. From here, roll your shoulders down your back and let your belly melt to the earth, curling your tailbone to the sky, shining your heart forward. And then from here, think of finding an external rotation of your upper arm to really open up your chest to the front of your mat. Now on your exhale, you're gonna curl your spine to the sky, tuck your tailbone, and let the top of your head melt to the earth. And a really great way to connect with this pose a little bit deeper is to press the floor away from you so you can get that beautiful stretch along your back. And if you draw in your lower abdomen, you can also feel that stretch in your lower back as well. From here, inhale, using your breath to move through the poses into your cat pose, and then exhale, curl your spine to the sky, coming into your cow pose. And from here, I'm gonna get Kate and Lee to move into a child's pose. So in your child's pose, your knees are wider than hip width. This is one variation. Your arms are extended ahead of you. Now with Kate, I'm gonna take this block underneath her head, and this will allow for a nice long neck in this pose. So she's not cranking it, having her forehead touch the ground. Now with Lee, another modification that you can connect to in child's pose, if you're feeling pain in your shoulders, if it's not comfortable to extend your arms forward, draw your knees closer together, let your hands come down to your sides with your palms facing up, and this is another lovely way to connect with a child's pose. And gently from here, moving into a camel pose, Ustrasana. So in your camel pose, you can choose in your practice, if you like, you can fold up your mat and just to find a little bit of padding in your knees. You're gonna start with your hands to your lower back, fingertips to the sky. If you're not able to reach your fingertips to the sky, you can face your fingertips to the ground. That's fine as well. Finding a nice open chest up to the sky, and think of drawing a line across the ceiling with your nose, reaching your chest up to the sky. Observing your breath, keeping your hips over your knees. Now with Lee, I'm gonna have him demonstrate what this pose would look like if you're able to come deeper into your camel pose. So with his toes tucked under, this brings the floor closer to you. So he's gonna reach back with one hand at a time to his ankles. And what can happen in this pose is that your hips are gonna wanna set back. Think of actively pressing your hips over your knees, opening your chest up to the sky, being mindful not to allow your lower back to crunch. So you wanna feel that lift, lift, lift to the sky. And with Kate, I'm gonna have her demonstrate yet another variation of the pose. This is with your toes untucked, so you'd have to actually reach a little bit further back. And again, Kate's going to press her hips forward as she reaches her chest up to the sky, staying with your breath. And to safely come out of the pose, you're gonna take your hands to your lower back first, one at a time, and slowly use your core strength to pull yourself back up into an upright position. From our camel pose, we're gonna come into a malasana, so your garland pose. This is a challenging pose for some people. If you are able to take both heels down to the ground, as Lee is demonstrating here, you're gonna take your elbows to the inside of your knees. Think of actively pressing in with your knees and out with your elbows, finding that length to the top of your head, scooping out your lower abdomen. Now with Kate, she's still coming into the same pose, however, you might notice that her heels are lifted slightly. This is a common way to connect with the pose. If you would like to get your heels closer to the ground, Kate's going to demonstrate. All you have to do is widen your stance slightly, and that can help you bring your heels closer to the ground. And again, actively pressing your knees into your arms, elbows back into your knees, finding length on all sides of your neck. And from here, we're going to move forward into a wide angle pose. So a seated wide angle pose. And Lee's going to demonstrate how this pose would look if you're feeling less open in your hamstrings, less open in your hips. So you can keep your knees bent. And again, you want to think of actively flexing your pinky toes towards your outer thighs. Now, what can happen in this pose, if you are feeling tight in your hips, tight in your hamstrings, you might start to feel a little bit of a strain in your back to try to keep your shoulders over your hips. So what you can do is walk your hands back slightly, scoop out your lower abdomen, and then that way you can maintain the focus in your hamstrings, shoulders away from your ears, and you're flexing your pinky toes to your outer thighs. Now with Kate, she's able to come into the pose with a little bit more ease. So she's flexing her feet, again, flexing the pinky toes towards your outer thighs, and that will maintain the alignment in your ankles, length to the top of her head. Inhale. Now, if it's possible, if it's something that you're able to connect to, you can maybe start to walk your hands forward, but coming down as far as you feel comfortable. If you start to reach forward and you start to round out your spine, so Kate's gonna demonstrate what that looks like. So this is a common occurrence in our practice as well. If you start to round out your spine, pull back, draw your shoulder blades together, and maintain that length. While you're here, flexing your feet, reaching your heels away from your hips. So again, you're maintaining that focus on the parts of your body where you feel the intensity instead of drawing it out to other parts of your body. Now, with a patient practice, you can connect with your postures at your own pace. I want to thank Kate and Lee for being with me today. Coming up next, Yoga Bites. Namaste.
Vishuddhi, the throat chakra. Directly translated means especially pure. With these simple ingredients, you can make a delicious non-dairy mac and cheese. Cook the quinoa macaroni in a separate saucepan set aside once cooked to your liking. Chop up the garlic and lightly brown in olive oil, add milk, bring the milk to a light boil, then add the cooked macaroni. Then all you have to do is add the non-dairy cheeses. I like using Daya. Mix it all up, yum.
Now remember, if you have a favorite recipe or maybe there's an Ayurvedic or holistic technique that you'd like us to try it on the show, please feel free to share it with me on my Facebook page at k.yoga. Tune in next week for more Live, Breathe Yoga. Thank you for watching. Namaste.